So, hello everybody. This is another installment of All Things Real Estate, where we talk about real estate issues, especially in the San Francisco Bay Area. And today we're lucky enough to have the lovely Audrey Hutton from she's the branch manager of the Hutton Mortgage Team. And she's really going to talk to us about a very important topic at the moment with the COVID virus and everything that's going on. She's going to talk to us a little bit about the mortgage forbearance procedure and potential negative effects that can cause. So first of all, thanks again for joining us, Audrey. So maybe you could explain, what is forbearance? I think a lot of people are going to, Google and checking the definition of this. What does forbearance mean exactly?
Yeah, and thank you so much for the opportunity just to spread the word, because I know a lot of people are confused about this. So it's really important just to educate the consumer, because what the media is covering is very limited. So what the forbearance basically says is, because everybody is in this financial, impact because of COVID, is that the forbearance makes it so that if people can't make their mortgage payment, that the lender cannot foreclose on their house within that 60-day period. Whereas normally, technically, a lender, if somebody misses their payment, they can start that foreclosure process. So it delays the foreclosure process. So that's what the forbearance is.
All right. Is there a difference between deferment and forbearance, or are we really talking about the same thing?
Pretty much the same thing, forbearance and deferment. As we were chatting and somebody had mentioned, it's not forgiveness. So it doesn't mean that you can skip these payments. You're going to have to make it up at some point. Right. So what that means is that every lender knows that the government put in place the forbearance so they can't foreclose on homes, but it does have to be repaid at some point. And each lender and servicer is going to accommodate that as best they can, differently from one or another. So I know we were talking earlier, and basically some lenders can say that they want a balloon payment. So at the end of X amount of time, they're going to want to see the lump sum repaid. Others might add it to the loan balance and tack it on so that it's amortized over the full 30 years, which means that you're going to be paying on that small amount that you were able to skip again over 30 years. So, it could cost you more by skipping the payments.
Okay. Well, of course, a lot of people are really in a difficult situation right now, but some people are continuing to work from home. They're on salary. And for those people that, still have jobs, still have their steady income, do you recommend actually skipping a mortgage payment?
Here's what I recommend. It's going to be different for every individual. So I feel that if it comes down to between feeding your family and making your mortgage payment, your children have to eat, so I do see that there's a lot of people that just saw it on the news and said, great, I don't have to make my mortgage payment. Perfect. If you can make your mortgage payment, make it. Right? So if you absolutely cannot make your mortgage payment, we can chat a little bit about the impacts that I could potentially foresee. If you want me to go into that,
What are the potential negative effects that can happen if you don't make a mortgage payment?
Yeah.
Especially concerning credit scores and potential borrowing in the future.
Yeah. Well, it's a great question. So with the forbearance, they are saying that they're not going to allow the lender to show the late payments on the credit report. But I can tell you that a lot of companies report erroneously and report in error. And with the last modifications, there were many people that actually did have late payments show on their credit reports. And then you as the consumer are left to fight that and to try to get that off. So it's one more thing that you have to deal with if for some reason the servicer messes up. So that's one negative impact potentially, is making sure that your credit is not impacted as they say it's not supposed to be. I would say the next thing is, no matter what, as we talked about, you're going to have to make up the payments. So it'll give you a little bit of breathing room, but you're still going to have to pay that back, and it's going to potentially cost you more. So that's why I'm recommending, if you don't have to absolutely do it, then don't do it.
Okay. Last question. And again, for those people who unfortunately have lost income, have lost jobs, and still have to make a mortgage payment, what do you recommend they do?
So I would recommend looking at your financials and seeing where you can move monies around. So for example, utility bills do not report to the credit agencies. So you're talking like your, PG&E bill, your water bill. call those companies and make an arrangement and see if you can defer those payments. It's a lot cheaper to do that than potentially your mortgage payment, and they don't report even if you are late. So that could tide you over for a couple months, right? So call them, see if you can work something out. Also, this is the time where if you can get a 0% interest credit card, that could be a way of temporarily borrowing some money so that way you can use a 0% interest rate card, and not have to pay any interest on it. Even if you can't qualify for a 0% interest rate card right now, using your credit cards and just making that minimum balance so that you can make your mortgage payments, so you can feed your family, that kind of thing, to tide you over for a couple months is not the end of the world. And here's my final thought on it too, is that realistically, if you're not going to buy anything soon, if you're not planning on purchasing a mortgage within the next 12 to 24 months, and you absolutely want to take advantage of the forbearance, it's probably going to have minimal impact. So, if you really need to use the forbearance, that's why I recommend, if you absolutely have to do it, do it. If you're trying to buy within 24 months or within the next 2 years, then be very careful. Try to use every arrangement that you can, like applying for the credit card, making arrangements, because it could potentially impact you if you're buying within that time period.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for the information. I'm sorry we had to cut it short. For anybody who wants any more information about this, feel free to reach out to Audrey. Again, she's part of the Hutton Mortgage Com. Her contact information will be in the post, but you can reach out to her website. It's www.huttonmortgageteam.com. That's Hutton, Hutton, all one word, huttonmortgageteam.com. And again, I'm Ken Buchanan with Century 21 Real Estate Alliance. You can see my information as well. Thanks again. Thanks for being with us, Audrey.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ken.
Bye.
Bye.